So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. Loki's alive. Can you believe it? He's up there. Loki, look who it is.
Thor Ragnarok is totally different from all the MCU movies that we've seen so far. Is that a good thing? Yes, I will tell you why, but first, please subscribe to GameSpot Universe. We're reviewing movies like Leatherface, we're talking about TV shows, we're breaking down American Horror Story, Stranger Things, Mr. Robot. Hit that button below. It's been like a decade and we've gotten so many Marvel movies over the years, and frankly, they're starting to feel a little bit samey. It's not always easy to tell who's at the helm. James Gunn really imprinted himself and his own sensibilities on Guardians of the Galaxy, and Taika Waititi did the same for Thor Ragnarok. It really feels like a Taika Waititi movie. How is it different? Thor Ragnarok is the funniest MCU movie yet. Yes, even funnier than both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Taika is a funny guy. He's a comedy director, he's a comedy actor. We saw his work in a couple of episodes of Flight of the Conchords. If you haven't seen his movies like What We Do in the Shadows, a vampire comedy, and Hunt for the Wilder People, go watch those because they're amazing. And if you see Thor Ragnarok and you like the humor, it's the exact same style of humor. This is why this movie works. That's why it's a great thing. It's a good thing when directors are allowed to put their own identities into their movies because it makes everybody care about it more. This type of humor is really dry. It's a lot of situational style comedy like Thor and the Hulk just sitting next to each other on the edge of a bed, making up after a fight, just like you and I would.
Let me try. Banner.
Welcome, strongest Avenger.
What?
But it's not all funny because Ragnarok literally is the Asgardian apocalypse. Is there such a thing as a funny apocalypse? Thor spends a lot of the movie trying to prevent Ragnarok from happening, but he's pretty much helpless when his sister Hela shows up. Yeah, Thor and Loki have a sister apparently. She's never been mentioned before. We'll get into that later. When Ragnarok starts to get into the meat of the story, it starts to lean on these big CG action sequences, and they don't have a lot of impact because the stakes are always really low. For example, there's this big action scene where Thor and Valkyrie are jumping from spaceship to spaceship, stabbing them with big swords, and it's very exciting, but there's not really any stakes because you don't really think any of them are gonna die or anything ultimately bad is gonna happen, so it really is just shallow spectacle for the sake of itself.
Did you see that?
What about the cast? Chris Hemsworth is Chris Hemsworth. He is Thor, there's nothing more to say about that. He's perfect as always. And he's funnier than he's ever been before. So I guess there is one other thing to say about him. Mark Ruffalo also kills it as Bruce Banner as always, and we actually get a lot more of the Hulk than we've seen in any of the past MCU movies. It's good and bad because, like everybody else in this movie, he's really funny now, but it kind of feels like they've changed the rules on the Hulk. He talks more than he's ever talked before, and sometimes the Hulk is calm, which feels like it kind of breaks the rules of the Hulk being mad all the time. On the other hand, look how cute he is. Tom Hiddleston is still great as Loki. He is up to his old tricks, which is kind of exhausting, but it is what it is. Tessa Thompson, on the other hand, is straight up amazing as Valkyrie. She totally adds a new dimension to the cast. Also feels like a fully fleshed out character. Even next to the Hulk and Thor, she's just a good character. You get a lot of backstory, you care about her, and it feels like a worthy addition to the Thor universe. On the other hand, as great as Benedict Cumberbatch is as Doctor Strange, he is barely in the movie, which I was a little surprised by given he's pretty prevalent in the marketing. Cate Blanchett as Hela is very prevalent, and that is not a good thing. I have no issue with Cate Blanchett. Cate Blanchett is an amazing actress. She has nothing interesting to do in this movie. Hela is such a boring villain, and it's the problem that Marvel movies always have, which is they don't have interesting villains with interesting motivations. All Hela wants to do is conquer Asgard. She wants to rule the world, nothing better than that. Honestly, Cate Blanchett deserved better. Karl Urban is her little sidekick. Karl Urban is great, and he has nothing to do in every scene besides just scowl and look troubled. Last but not least, Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster. God, he's good. Can Jeff Goldblum just be in every movie? Every movie. I want him in every. He should be the one actor who they break the rule that you can only play one character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He should get a character in every movie. Almost all of his lines seem like they're ad-libbed. You can tell that him and Taika Waititi really had a lot of fun doing this, and it's that exact kind of humor that I love about this movie. I liked a lot of things about Thor Ragnarok. It is the funniest Marvel movie yet. Tessa Thompson is a scene stealer. Most of the cast is amazing. It's not Cate Blanchett's fault, again. It's super colorful too. Like the aesthetic is amazing. It's like 60s psychedelia, 1970s disco, 1980s like hair metal in a lot of ways. The score by Mark Mothersbaugh is like synthy and drives so many scenes, and it's amazing. And Roman gladiator battles. Who doesn't want to see that in a Marvel movie? But there is some bad too. Hela is hella boring. I'm sorry about that. Whenever it starts to feel like a big Marvel movie is when it starts to feel like it has no impact. Stakes are low. Some of the CG is just straight up bad when they're in the Coliseum. I mean, I just saw Blade Runner 2049 and that movie is all practical sets and it makes a difference and you can tell. Plus, they ruin the best reveal in like all the marketing. Hulk bursting into that Coliseum is a huge deal and the movie spends like its first third building up to it. Like it's a mystery. Who's the champion? You're gonna fight the champion. You'll never beat the champion. And the whole time you're sitting there going, well, it's the Hulk. I already know this. You should definitely see Thor Ragnarok. It feels unique in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it feels like that's all thanks to Taika Waititi. If there's anything Marvel takes away from this, I hope it's that they can let talented directors really imprint their own sensibilities and their own styles on these big Marvel movies. Which, by the way, Marvel Cinematic Universe mastermind Kevin Feige has promised that he's gonna work with Taika again, so yay. Good for you, Taika. Thanks for watching, subscribe right there, and let us know in the comments what you're excited about in Thor Ragnarok. Also, if you love Cate Blanchett as Hela, send me hella tweets about it at Rogue Cheddar. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Goodbye.